be way too far ahead that it's really not even going to matter.
Oh, we're going to have to see. Or needs to start with the laning phase. And do you feel like there is, for Hydra in particular, because we're both kind of favoring StoRm, for Hydra, how do we feel about the lane setup? Do they have the advantage there where maybe they can edge out a victory in a majority of the lanes?
I forget, was the Enchantress picked before or after the Clinks?
Before.
Enchantress was picked before the Clinks. All right, well, I mean, that's the big thing for mine, right? Is that most of the time when you pick up this Enchantress for Happy, yes, it's a comfort hero, but also you expect to win the lane. You expect to win a lot of these trades, but you're really not going to be able to get too much use out of the enchant as well if you're using it onto units. You know, if you've got 1J there just with the Death Pact, then he's just going to say, all right, thanks for the extra HP to be able to play around with.
I'd have to see that kind of Nature's Attendance build that we've seen a little bit more often. It's going to be 4. Okay, no, it's going to be 4. Oh, that's not good. No good, no good. Happy and 1J going at it right now. So yeah, we'll see what Happy wants to level up. Have to imagine it will be that Nature's Attendance at the level 1. But mid lane though, we are seeing a lot a position to Earthshaker so far in Eastern Europe. I'm really glad we're getting to see it as much as what we are currently, because it's a hero that is proving to put in so much work currently in all the games that we've been watching.
I mean, you could just deny so easily, right? That's the big thing. And something a little bit different that we haven't really seen too much of is the Exort Invoker coming through. Ooh. Maybe just expecting to need to use it to be able to, secure a lot of these last hits. But I really don't think it's going to work out all too well if Nicky Cool just keeps an eye on him, has a look over at the mana pool that he's looking to play with. You can see as soon as it's being cast, and then just look to soak up a lot of that damage with your own body or the rest of the creep wave.
So the only other time I saw this Exort Invoker was Sumail playing it, and he went Treads, Witchblade. I cannot remember if it was a Manta, but he went like some right click Invoker build. So not your classic kind of like Midas into Boot to Travel, Blink, Scepter, kind of just playmaking, Hex. Yeah, exactly. So
did he
we'll see.
Fan though, because that's what Warwick's got queued up.
I think it was maybe double bracer or one. I don't particularly remember, but just for me, I just remember the fact he went Witchblade and kind of right click build. So see what Warwick wants to do, because we haven't had the opportunity to get too many Exort Invokers. Let's take a look at some of our other lanes at the moment. Though top, of course, the last pick Darkseer for Cloud. You were kind of mentioning like what is the item build going to be for him after maybe a couple of minutes or so. Has any other suggestions come to mind on what Cloud might be thinking this game?
Nope. Pretty much like I'm just expecting to see a lot. Like, he needs to get everything, basically. Really nice play by Seneko as well, just to make sure that they don't block up the camp another time. The big thing for them is just to be able to get Cloud into this Vanguard as quickly as possible, and then allow Lil to make some of these rotations. Because I guess with going for this Exort build on Warwick, it does enable you to potentially take towers, make some of these pushes happen just that little bit quicker. You're going to have the double Forge Spirits to be able to play around with. But my main issue is that you're not exactly having a ton of reliable Sunstrike setups, right? You've got slows, but that's pretty much it. The stun from the techies doesn't last all that long. The pounce, you could still walk around inside of the leash. So I'm not sure how much value he's really going to get out of that.
Dominic? A little bit of trouble. 1J's got to try and body block, but it's a Sunstrike and up with the last right click from Happy from afar. That will be first blood picked up.
I have to wonder as well, like, it really depends on how quickly they hit some of these timings as well, but you've just reached level 3 on the Enchantress. Clinks is still level 2. And well, he's coming straight back to the lane, so it shouldn't be too long until he's level 3. But the Enchantress should be able to get like this level 5 creep that he isn't actually able to deal with just yet for the next 30 seconds. You can only Death Pact the level 4 creep up until this point in time. So how much value is Happy going to get out of that? Because I really don't feel like the Clinks is going to be able to contest this at all. So you're going to be suffering a little bit in terms of Dominic's farming potential and just the ability to stay in this lane. Might even be a bit of a cheeky play with like a Hurricane push back into a pounce or something like that, and you kill the Beastmaster.
Seen the Hurricane Knife. Bro.
I mean, look at some of these last hits, by the way, in both the lanes. Like, the Beastmaster is getting
Whoa,
crushed
wait,
in the
what
bottom
the?
lane. And Earthshaker
what's going?
crushing.
All right, well, that's going to help when you're down this many last hits from Warwick.
Yep.
Looks like he's not going to be able to get the Water Rune as well. Nicky Cool will snag that one. Lil gets the other one at least, so the Earthshaker's not going to play with Double Rune, but that does leave Cloud alone. Lil's going to... Oh, no way. So frustrating. Lil had to TP back in. Gets glimpsed away, doesn't even protect Cloud fast enough. He's not even going to get any solo experience as well. So, what's going on mid though? What is this?
This is just an Earthshaker doing Earthshaker things. This is a specialist playing his favorite hero, and I mean, he's doing a fantastic job so far. And I mean, when you're able to passively shove lanes out a little bit as well as this Shaker, you're always going to have this experience advantage, and you're always going to be able to be in a better position to be able to secure those water runes for yourself as well, because Warwick, he needs every single last hit that he can get.
Should it be this bad though?
No, it shouldn't be this bad. Warwick, luckily for him though, he did get the kill off of that Sunstrike previously. So when you're the Invoker, it's nice to get the assist gold from just having a Sunstrike be part of it, but the only way that you're getting experience is if you actually secure the kill yourself. So he didn't get it for the first blood, but he got it for the second kill there in the bottom lane. So he's not as far behind as he probably should be in terms of this experience count right now.
Okay.
He has to be careful though. 1 or 2 creeps away from hitting up onto that level 6. So Warwick going to need to be careful, and in the Forge Spirit might also just give him a little bit more of a concern, just another hero to get that echo off on. Looks like they won't be the surprise though.
But it does mean that Warwick has to play so passively now inside the lane. One misstep.
On him.
You fine?
He's going to be able to walk it off.
I mean, we see Seneko even hugging the tree line as well. Potential fight to break out for this power rune. Nicky Cool should be able to secure it. We'll see if it's going to spawn up top or not. Where do we go? We go bottom. All right, well, that's very scary now. TD onto the Earthshaker. Very cool.
How do you set up for this? I mean, it really feels like Seneko is looking to try and bait them out a little bit. Oh, nearly. Got the clap? Not quite. You got Disruptor setting up for a potential kill. Coming in.
Oh, nice try with the cold snap. Maybe some of the damage over time is enough. And now Warwick, can they consider about turning it around? They'll glimpse away the Invoker. What's the Sunstrike cooldown? Up in a couple of seconds. Happy's going to try and give them the vision, but I think Nicky's been able to sustain through a decent chunk. So even with a threat, he'd be able to tank it all up. But all right, that is Echo used. That's a DD used as well from Nicky Cool, which really should be a, I don't want to say guaranteed kill, but it definitely increases your chances of getting a kill. So that's good for Warwick.
The big thing that I'm scouting out for is anyone going to be able to make a movement towards this area that Dominic is stacking up for himself. There's so many creeps here inside of this ancient camp, is just going to be able to get away there on Cloud. But it's honestly reached this point. Maybe he just wants level 5 on the Beastmaster before he goes back to try and take those a little bit. But if he waits too much longer, you're going to get rotations in towards here. I mean, Lil, he's able to deal a decent amount of AoE damage. You can get some steals off. So 1J, he's just acting as a bodyguard for this top side right now.
He's fine. Ain't gonna die with 2 points nature's attendance. Dude, Kami's gonna have such an incredible timing out of this Midas, and I guess this is why you were wanting to respond with the Slark into the Beastmaster. He felt very comfortable. We gotta keep in mind as well, I suppose, in game 1, I think it was, with StoRm versus Matreshka, we gave Dominic the MVP because of his Beastmaster. So, you know, in a couple of the other games we've seen, people have been banning it out, but Hydra, they came in with a plan, and they've executed that perfectly down bottom. Of course, it could be said the same thing for top lane as well. I mean, Katie's even higher net worth than the Slark, so, and of course that is going to be further enabled with the fact that he's got the illusions compared to what Kami can play with.
Yeah, a lot more lane pressure able to be put on as a result of this, and a lot more potential to just be able to move back towards the jungle. So level 7 on the Naga Siren, feeling very confident in being able to just spam out a lot of those abilities. Just the 1 point in the ensnare is enough value to be able to get real use out of Seneko in this lane. And I mean, even now, Cloud, he's going to need to be a little bit careful here with when exactly He uses his surge. Luckily, though, he's got Lil standing behind him. This is that scary period, right? You've hit up onto level 5 on the Beastmaster, so he wants to be taking a lot of these stacks, but they really just don't want to let this happen. Ooh.
Happy? Yeah, would hate to use the Echo onto Happy, won't be forced to do so. Another Sunstrike off the mark from Warwick, but like you were saying though, it's definitely not the easiest game for him to be able to land the Sunstrike. It's going to be up to pure skill and I was going to say maybe a little bit of luck that don't sidestep it, but no, maybe that's where skill comes into play as well with being able to predict it. So yeah, we'll see what Warwick can do, but he is stabilizing at least. You know, he's been able to stay alive for a little bit longer. After this creep wave, he should have the Midas done as well.
That's pretty huge for him, you know, just not only to be able to catch up in net worth, but the experience as well. Remember, he's trying to rush for that level 9 so that he has the 2 extra points in the quas so that you can go for this Forge Spirit build and put a little bit of extra pressure in onto StoRm, force them to have to defend their towers rather than use this Disruptor who's now hit onto his level 6 to be able to go for these frequent gank attempts.
Looks like
Nearly thinking that Nicky Cool was going to walk up into that Ancient stack and just echo it before, but needing
well, they see him.
I'm sure he's saying.
Speaking of Nicky Cool, it's going to be up to Lil to start. Maybe the Blast Off is enough of a stun for the Sunstrike. Decent chunk of damage in the moment. Seneco's going to come on over and drop the Static Storm, and they were just too late from the spell casting. Seneco, great position for him. It's going to be able to offer a helping hand to Nicky Cool, and now they're going to get the glimpse back as well. I wonder why they didn't look to try and play with the Blast Off. Just the right clicks were never going to be enough, and when you all right, they'll use the Echo. I was going to say maybe they won't even have the damage, but Nicky Cool decides that Echo is required to get the kill.
He's happy enough with it, but I mean, on the plus side, Warwick gets a mid-tier 1 tower, so he's pretty happy with that one. Kami going to be forced back. Don't think he was able to claim any of those creeps inside the stack.
No, he did.
Yeah, they were just.
I don't know how many though.
Oh, okay, yeah, not a ton. He was like 10 mana off the Sunstrike. That's why it didn't come out a little bit sooner, and why they didn't play around the Blast Off.
Okay. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Oh, overall though, it's a decent start for Hydra. Kami's going to be under some threat though. Tries to get the pounce timing out of the kinetic field, and now Dominic will hold the roar to the Dark Pack expires. Really nicely done, and that was the opportunity with that Shadow Dance being on cooldown. It's a big kill for them to find, and now it really opens up Dominic's game as well. If you can get this tier 1 tower, you get a little bit more camps to be able to farm, getting you closer towards your scepter.
Really, because it feels like it's going to get to the point where there's just way too much AoE damage for them to have to deal with, right? You're going to have this Aghanim Scepter on the Beastmaster, you're going to have a Naga Siren that's dishing out all of this Riptide damage, and it's just going to be healing up everything. This is without even going into any sort of auras build on Dominic, which, I mean, it feels like a pretty good pipe game to me, going up against this Invoker, Darkseer, or even just the Dark Pact and the Techies feels amazing.
So you wanting kind of pipe straight away after the Scepter's completed for Dominic?
I think so. Maybe if they feel like they need another form of initiation, he could afford to go for the Blink Dagger, just catch out the Slark, because Kami's really the only one that's having an amazing game right now.
We are going to see StoRm start to even consider out sweeping over to the mid lane to maybe play with Nicky Cool, because he does have this Blink coming out on the Courier. Be cautious it doesn't get scouted out though.
Honestly, I'm very impressed with how much farm Cloud's been able to pick up. He's almost into the Crimson Guard for himself. He's going a mech as well after that. Just these little items that are really going to start to build up into the Guardian Greaves, I'm assuming, after that, since he's already got the Arcane Boots. It's going to be good to be able to get around a lot of these roots, a lot of these ensnares as well. Really extend the survivability of his team, because I mentioned all of that AoE potential that StoRm has.
And that's really the name of the bottom lane. There's the reveal, and they've got the roar as well, still from Dominic. Nicky Cool, great blink. Gonna be able to get a big kill onto Kami. Second death in the row here for the Slark, so currently top net worth. Naga's gonna very shortly usurp his position though. And now they're even gonna try and catch up to Happy too. Katie, when you get a little bit more active, glimpse back, should help with getting the kill. So, couple of decent movements across the map from StoRm in the past minute or so.
And Katie's going to be able to start pushing out a lot of these other lanes as well with that Manta style. Could use it just to be able to pick up a little bit more farm for himself.
Bottom lane. Dominic, can Warwick get in range for the cold snap? He can. Sunstrike this time is on the mark. He's probably going to tick out. Yep, Blue's already chucked out the sticky bomb. Very nice movement from them. So yeah, they're able to respond with their own kill across the map, and Warwick gets involved as well for some much needed experience in gold.
At least he'd already bought up the components of his Aghanim Scepter though, right? So he's got a lot more stats now, a lot more damage considering he's a universal hero and didn't lose any unreliable gold off the back of that.
Goodness.
It's a nice little freebie.
You were doing
Or he's going into the nullifier on the Clinks as well. Feels pretty good against the reactive taser, against the Darkseer. Even just removing Alacrity as well is going to be quite nice.
So I kind of brought up that I was expecting Hydra to be playing a very active 15 to 20 minutes with the Echo Diffusal and the Coswex Invoker. They obviously very much have a completely different read, going this double Midas for them. Do we kind of agree then with that? They feel like they should be able to match StoRm as this game goes on with the double Midas?
Maybe. I mean, the thing that I'm really considering is like, what item is Kami going to go after he picks up this Aghanim Scepter for himself, right? Is he going to disassemble the Echo Saber and then look to build into something like a Mage Slayer instead? Just to be able to deal with all of this AoE damage that they're going to have pumping into you, right? Maybe then you feel like you're able to man fight a little bit more confidently into the Naga Siren.
Should be a freebie. What we're considering, like, I mean, BKB has to be picked up off the Scepter, right?
Yeah, maybe. It's just a matter of like, is it Mage Slayer or is it BKB? Both are so important, right? But you do have a lot of damage that's going to be able to just even go through that BKB with the Earthshaker. If you're able to get that chain stun combination off, at least you're going to have the magic resistance available with the Mage Slayer.
One thing it's really only taking me now to notice is how goddamn good of a disruptor pick it was last from StoRm. Of course, we spoke about the combo with the Naga Siren, but with how many heroes you address this game, it's really crazy. We've mentioned so far through the qualifiers that the disruptor has got probably the best win rate percentage against the Slark as a counter. Also against the Darkseer with Surge. I mean, that's going to minimize all your effectiveness with that kind of ability. And you've got just incredible ways to be able to scout. Not even, we spoke about, Song, Static Storm, but even illusions for the glimpse back vision. But Seneko is having a hell of a game. 2-0-4. I've been very impressed with his positioning and where he's been on the map to get involved in some of these early kills.
A bunch of D-wards as well, and he's even building up to be a bit of that aura, because you know that the Beastmaster isn't exactly going into it. He's prioritizing a little bit more of his own farm, and he is going to go into that Blink Dagger build that we were talking about as they end up getting another kill up on this top side. So really, to me, this feels like, all right, we know that we can deal with the entire lineup, but we just got to make sure that Kami doesn't have a good start to a lot of these engagements. And if we can make that Blink Echo Slam happen, great, job done. If we can make a Blink Primal Roar happen, great. It's just another way to be able to deal with him right now. And that's kind of why I was leaning a little bit more towards this Mage Slayer, right? You just need to be able to be just a bit more survivable.
Oh no, they got a little bit of vision of him. Pipe's going to be activated, but Nikki Cool is able to jump over the top and land the Echo Slam. How do you take the fight now if you're Hydra? They've been able to get a decent chunk of damage onto Katie, but the Song helps the retreat. And I don't think Kami's going to be able to pursue as well. So StoRm almost was able to get another kill off the back of it. Nonetheless, though, it's still a very important one onto Warwick.
Is indeed, and you let the Naga Siren get away. Probably does mean that she needs to be playing a little bit more passive, but again, this is the period where you do want to be playing passive on if you're StoRm. You want to be making advantage of the nighttime if you can on Hydra with this Slark, but with the amount of attention that they've put into him, I mean, it still looks impressive, right? Kami, second net worth, feels like, he's not having too bad of a game. But he's 0-2-1. He doesn't quite yet have that Aghanim Scepter, and they haven't made a single aggressive move yet onto the dire side of the map up until now. Maybe they're looking to potentially hunt for the Naga Siren, but really good presence of mind.
They can hunt for Dominic instead. They'll be able to get a pretty easy kill onto the Beastmaster. 1J does reveal his location. Dire in two minds. They were starting to pivot down. Well, they might be able to capitalize on that. Happy isolated from the team. No one else is actually coming over to the right side. He is just free food at the moment for wherever Katie is. 4-0-1. Happy's got 5 deaths as well in the Enchantress.
So that was really good by Katie, right? He knew that they were hunting him. He knew that they were wanting to make the most of this nighttime. So when he went through the twin gate, he just left a Naga illusion at the top of the gate there to be able to scout out anyone that might be looking to chase him through and make some sort of like pincer move happen. So that's the only reason that they got the kill onto the Enchantress, because he didn't go uber greedy, wasn't going all in on the farm. He realizes the important thing right now, even if it means you're only farming at like 80, 90% of your full potential, it's just don't die. Don't give them ways to be able to pick up an extra free kill or two.
It was
with standard. He is going in that Mage Slayer as well on the Slark. So I like it, right? Like, you're going to have a bunch of auras to be able to play around with. He's got Pipe finished up on Darkseer. He's got Mech finished up on Darkseer. He's going for the Crimson Guard. You potentially, I mean, maybe they want to wait for 20 minutes and hope to get a lucky Aghanim Shard through for Lil, just so that you can toss that onto the Slark as well if you get initiated onto. But it really feels like at that point, they think that they can look to play around Kami quite effectively.
Mid lane, StoRm, they're even going for their own play. Fine will go off, so Warwick might play this one a little bit more cautiously, not knowing who is here. He's going to show pretty shortly, but we've got to say, though, regardless, Hydra, they had a 1,000 net worth lead off the back of the lanes. They went pretty well as a whole. I'll hold that because Cloud's getting hunted in the tree line. Katie's going to start. Brothers, the team's relatively close to FOP as well. They've got a fissure to be able to use him. Oh, Nikki, cool with the damage for the enchant totem. Quickly cleans up the killer. Now Hydra are going to be forced to TP down, so they will lose all their map control around the top side.
They will indeed, and it allows Dominic to just stick up here, right? He just wants to get into that next team fight item in the Pipe of Insight. So he's gone away from the Blink Dagger, maybe feeling again like they just need to survive this scary little period. They are playing underneath an Observe Order, and they ended up smoking under it as well. So Warwick should be able to just walk in. Maybe he needs to just right-click the shield rune. He's gone a little bit too far forward. Seems like he should be able to get away, though. I don't know if you can kill this Invoker, not with a shield rune. Maybe if the Naga's there with the pipe, the Orchid though. Gonna go for a glimpse target, but not finding anyone just yet. Just that value of the vision, right?
Vision does indeed win games. 1J. You're gonna be able to run on forward, scouting up the Darkseer once again. They're gonna try and lead to deal with Cloud. Not as survival is what they're hoping for, but Hydra's still gonna have the numbers to potentially turn it. Dominic's gonna hold the Invoker down. It'll just importantly enable Nikki Cool to reset his positioning, and he can evaluate if he wants to jump back in and snipe Lil. He's gonna have the damage at the moment. 2 points only the fissure, so Lil is going to be able to live through it all. It's a 1-for-1, but on a BKB has to be used from Warwick. Again, Cloud dies for the 3rd time this game. We were praising how much he got out of the lane, but these deaths in a row is really going to hinder his scaling potential.
It is indeed, and I mean, it's just a matter of like, well, when is it enough to be able to deal with this Naga Siren? Because we talk about all these plays that are happening around the map, and we just haven't mentioned Katie in quite some time, right? He's already built up like a 4,000 net worth lead now over the Slark. This is just Naga Siren things, right? Not just being able to farm, not just being able to contribute in team fights, but also push out lanes. You could just be so many different areas at once. Looks like they're even going to be going for a Tormentor as well. Wouldn't hate 1J to be able to pick it up just for that Burning Barrage. Another way to be able to shove out lanes, but it's going to be the worst one in the game.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Speaking of the disruptor, what do we make of kind of the drums instead of maybe Seneko going down the kind of big team fight Scepter route, considering you've got the Naga to set up?
I mean, you've also got a Shaker, a Naga Siren, a Klinks, and a Beastmaster to be able to play around with, right? It's got pretty good synergy there, and I feel like they think that they've got enough jump to be able to secure kills onto the likes of the Slark with Nikki. Seneko
starts onto Seneko. Should be able to get a quick and easy kill off for the other side as well. Kami's going to try and deal with a secondary support. Warwick is in a bit of danger, especially with the Fissure's going to land into 2. Echo still could down for a couple of seconds, but importantly, Kami, he's held in place at the moment, has an opportunity to pop the Shadow Dance and looks to turn as well. It's a decent fight is starting to brew here from Hydra, but it's going to be up to Nikki to turn the tides. With the Echo up in a couple of seconds, they won't need it for the kill onto Kami, so now he has it still in the arsenal to get the remaining members. Is happy, or he'll be able to TP out. Cloud will try and go through the portal as well if they got the damage. Yes, they do. Katie snipes him down with the Riptide, and now a fight right at the front of the pit. They can look to get Roche as well.
Bot's already taken. You have to say that fight didn't even go anywhere close to perfect for StoRm, right? But again, another really solid song coming through from the Naga Siren, providing that extra layer of protection for the rest of the team, making sure that they were able to get away, only losing a couple of supports, and they didn't even need to use the Echo at the end of everything. Level 15 now as well for the Shaker, so an extra 50% damage coming through from the Enchant Totem. They're just even more going into that route of just sniping people on the backline, going in towards the Shadow Blade. You would assume it's going to be a Silver Edge being picked up after that, just to make sure that you've got as much time available on the map as possible. 6-second lower cooldown on the Silver Edge relative to the Shadow Blade, and it means that you could just spend that next little bit of time hunting, probably alongside Seneko.
This is Earthshaker Corner. Look really fun to play though. Like there are a couple of heroes
fun to play, man. I love Midshaker.
Oh, I mean that is true. That is true. Kami, a little bit cautious. 1J is underneath a sentry, but of course, I don't know if you can jump. I mean, Warrior's gonna try, man, but hey, BKB again just for clinks.
Pretty happy with it.
Kill.
It's a kill, but what is it going to get you? There's already no tower top, there's no tower mid, there's no Roche top, so what's the point? You know, now they just need to wait for the relatively low time for the Clinks to be able to respawn. They're not even going to wait. Nikki Cool's like, all right, let's go hunt some people.
They've re-smoked on Hydra, though. Oh, gotta be cautious, Nikki. The cat with the Shadow Blade doesn't actually want to jump in. Hydra were grouped up for a moment, and now smoke on smoke, and everyone's out of there. Kami's going to split, going down to bottom, but this is Katie's home. Mid-bot pushed out. Hydra going to need to deal with their waves before they can even consider about making plays once again on the map.
I mean, they can go right now on StoRm, but I feel like there's no harm in just waiting, let's say a minute, right? You've already got the Butterfly, you've got the drums finished up on Seneko, you're very close to a Nullifier on 1J as well. Like, why not just wait that one out? Really doesn't feel like it's going to harm you all that much, especially if you've got the ability to just confirm these kills so reliably.
And we already see where they're looking to go, though, when they do have these items and what area they want to control. A triangle is without a doubt up for the grabs. This is going to give you easy path towards that tier 2 top, towards that tier 2 mid as well. It's going to take away a lot of the Ancients as well for Hydra to be able to potentially catch up and maybe find those next set of items. So economy continuing to build for StoRm in this game. 12,000 net worth lead. You got a DD on Nikki Cool now too.
Always love to see it. Might even be able to yoink away the Tormentor if they really want to. You already had to buy the Aghanim Shard on the Techies just to be that little bit of a saving barrier if you do get jumped on by the Beastmaster, by the Earthshaker. But again, it's really not going to be a factor now. 1J, he's got his Nullifier coming out on the Courier, so even if you layer out the reactive armor, the reactive taser, the pipe, the surge, everything in onto him, it's going to mean absolutely nothing.
How can they
They're about to
reoccupy?
And they just want to so next on the Clinks.
Kami's going to run straight into them, dude. Static Storm's used. We're going to have to pop the BKB. Somehow he slips out of the kinetic field. So a little bit used there from StoRm. Nikki calls off on the outskirts. He's waiting for the open. Wait, Cloud? What? Oh, he just didn't disengage with the team. He got caught out. Now they're going to get another. They'll drag back. Nice use of the blast off, but to no avail. The StoRm find a couple of easy kills. Now Warwick as well is outside the base. Not going to be able to get vision over. Nice attempt from Seneko with the ward, but Gums was still on cooldown anyway.
They're just trying to keep these lanes pushed out as much as they can whenever they get the opportunity to. And I gotta say, StoRm, they're like kind of wandering around, slowly taking a single creep, but you just got to rally around this mid lane, right? It's being pushed in fairly effectively. You don't have the Darkseer, you don't have Shadow Dance available. He didn't have to pop the BKB at least on Kami, so he's still got that 9-second one, but it really feels like he doesn't feel confident enough to be able to fight without this Aghanim Shard for himself. And well, you're only going to have about a minute of nighttime to be able to play around with once that Aegis expires. It really feels like they're going to need to somehow get the jump onto Nikki Cool and just burst him down. And you got to say, the stuns are pretty lacking. Like, he is going to be able to shrug off a lot of what they're pushing at him.
And Clink's the most, the hero with the most building damage so far this game. A pick we haven't, of course, we saw for a decent chunk, especially pubs as well. Klinks was getting played a lot in the high level ones, but pro level we're seeing it for a little bit. Kind of fell off, maybe Riyadh and Bali, but
still that engine
nice,
though, right?
Yes,
that's incredibly solid. It was a response to that for sure.
Yes, that is the big thing. So nice little response from StoRm, and very crafty one too. And we've seen also now his items are also going to be really huge in these upcoming fights potentially too. Desolator is going to be the choice for him, but they almost
far too good, man. It makes supports into legitimate right-click threats in a lot of these fights. We saw it by Seneko when he played the Nature's Prophet, just crazy amount of damage that you're able to output, plus an extra 20 damage on your other 2 attacks. So it's like a farming tool as well. He's going to give it up anyway, just getting a tier 3 item, but if you can get something like an Elven Tunic with how fast you're already hitting, feels pretty great. Struggling to see a potential comeback here. I mean, even if it's like a 5-man vac wall, it would need to be into something like a 5-man blast off into a tornado after the fact, deafening blast, this sort of thing. And you're going to get BKBs pretty soon on most of your cores right now on StoRm. The Shaker's already got one. Beastmaster's got one very shortly. Kami, hopefully for his sake, he doesn't have to pop the BKB, and well, he's out of vision.
Nicky cool though. No, back to the Kami. Echo Slam drops straight away, but the Pipe's going to give Kami some mitigation.
Uh-oh.
What is this able to set up for? They've caught up 2 down to the south. Of course, Invoker can activate the BKB and get the jump away, but the Darkseer will not have the same fate. And Hydra, what's the call now? Warwick's going to TP out, but Kami will try to use the Shadow Dance to cover. And it'll be enough to make it, man. Very close to losing some extra heroes as well, but there just never seems like there will ever be a fight for Hydra that is even somewhat favorable.
Again, Lil doing his best to be able to try and delay this one out, get a little bit more value out of the Midas, but the longer you delay, the stronger this Naga Siren's going to get. I mean, she's only 4-slotted right now. There isn't exactly anything that she's needing to be worried about, and she's got a BKB coming out. When do you see a Naga Siren go a BKB? They just know that they're going to be able to shrug off any sort of initiation that they're going.
Oh, Slark? Get a decent chunk of essence.
No Shadow Dance anymore though, so still the fact that they are able to force them back is obviously a positive. Can you see an avenue back? Because I can't.
Oh no, this this one's
over like 15 minutes ago, to be honest.
Yeah, this one's not looking good. I mean, Kami's got a Mjolnir queued up, so
again, Maelstrom, Mjolnir, good against Naga, but not at this point of the game. Not when she's got 26k net worth and is farmed as she is.
Jump up onto Dominic. Early BKB out of him. We know the Stark doesn't have the tools to be able to be too mobile inside the fights. Shadow Dance is actually back up for him. Simultaneously onto Katie. Let's see how strong the Naga is going to be chasing back some of the supports. Even Cloud is getting solo killed from 1J's Clinks, and simultaneously, they're also holding the Stark into place thanks to Nicky's spell casting. A fight's breaking out simultaneously on the other side of this high ground, as 1J might even be able to get the kill with the help of the ensnare. And now Hydra, they're just going to try and do their best to cut their losses. Warwick to the right, Happy to the north. But, I mean, that's no buyback here from Kami, and they can just look to walk it down now in StoRm.
Yeah, 75 gold away from being able to pick it up. No bounty runes for them to be able to claim. Warwick doing his best to just try and cut the wave a little bit. I suppose they do have high ground glyph if they really wanted to do it, but there's just so many units there that I'm not even sure if the backline would have been removed, and this is what you're able to do, just absolutely rip apart a base, even just with a passive Blightstone, and well, now it's a Desolator as well on 1J, so you've got no base to be able to play around with, and it was just a little bit too early of a BKB usage there by Kami, but the game had gotten to the point where I really don't think it mattered. This is Megas, 33 minutes in. No wall, no nothing.
And there might be a death onto the Invoker as well. Tekken's doing a decent chunk of damage, but yeah, the inevitable has come. G's are dropped. Firstly, I mean, they played incredibly well on StoRm, but I think they set themselves up with a great draft to be able to take this game 1.
Yep, great clinks, great disruptor picks. Obviously feeling very confident with the